All right, beautiful. Welcome everyone to our continuing education wellness series. We are on the second to last of the 8 weeks. So week 7 is all about women's health and hormones. And I was really considering, I spent a lot of time preparing for this class. I feel like, all of the things are important, right? Like everything we could teach you is so valuable. But I think that at this point, most of us in our lives are in a place where our hormones are maybe changing, whether I don't know, there's just so many different places, so many levels that each of us can be as it relates to our hormones, right? And I've even found myself, I'll be 40 next year, and I feel great. Like I feel better than ever. I'm not birthing babies, I'm not nursing little humans, I feel like I've kind of moved away from that. But then there's like a whole new set of things now, right? It's like, okay, now there's these feelings and these hormones and lots of things to pay attention to for each of us. And so as we jump into our content today, I hope that each of you, I'm going to share my screen with you. Hope that each of you really feel the power and understanding that women deserve better. If there's nothing else that 2020 has taught us, it's that there's a lot of like pretty messed up systems around us. You know what I mean? And again, I don't like to go political or any which way, but it's just kind of like there has never been a more important time, a more obvious time that we have to take our health, our lives, our decisions, our intuition really inside, like really into our own hearts, our own minds, our own bodies. And I was really considering like what this process might look like for each of you, really tapping into like a divine intuitive wisdom or listening to your body more, right? Kind of like what I was saying before I started the recording. I was talking about how I've noticed that I just don't have like the motivation, the energy, the flow on certain days of the week. And so I'm actually going to start paying attention to that and really like allowing my intuition, my body, my mind to lead me and pay attention to that. And I think that that's really going to help a lot of us when we start to pay attention to that. But what happens if your body and those connections and like that flow that keeps you alive, what happens if it's disrupted and it's actually not functioning really well? And I think that's why understanding our hormones and how to make sure they're balanced and removing toxins or different threats out of our lives will only sharpen us more. It will allow us to be more open to receive more light. It will allow us to be sharper so that we can listen and be more aware and be a better service for our families and for our communities. So there's just a lot of value and a lot of reasons why we really do deserve better. So I want to jump in. We're going to do a little analysis for a moment, and then I'm going to teach you some really great, maybe it's a review. If you were like a biology major or something, it might be a little bit of a review for you. But let's start here for now. I want each of us to, on a scale of 1 to 10, and if you have the handout, you can use the handout. And of course, if you don't, you can just grab a piece of paper, notebook, or put it in your phone or whatever. But really, take a moment and consider on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your monthly cycle? And if you're, peri or postmenopause, then how are your symptoms really kind of on a daily or weekly basis? How do you feel? On a 1 would be there's no unwanted symptoms. You're perfectly healthy. Everything's in flow. It's absolutely amazing. 10 would be out of control symptoms every single day, very frustrated, seeking for answers. So where do you fall on that scale? All right. Now, there's quite a few different areas that hormone balancing will affect for you, right? Or there's a few different areas where your body gets out of balance, right? And the first one is in your thyroid. And I've got some, I'll show you like where your thyroid is, and it's here in your neck area, but I'll show you the different systems of the body in just a moment. But just kind of think about for a moment, if you've ever felt like there was a imbalance in your thyroid, or maybe a doctor has diagnosed that in you, right? It's quite common, actually, especially for women. Maybe you've experienced adrenal fatigue, or what I was diagnosed with, probably 5 years ago, adrenal blowout is what I was diagnosed with. It wasn't just fatigue. It was like, yeah, they're shot. Like every time my adrenaline and my adrenals would try to fire, it was just kind of like misfiring. Like it wasn't going through the proper channels in my body. And it was just completely exhausting. Maybe some of you have difficulty losing weight. Some of the things that you've tried in the past that used to work for you, they don't work for you the same anymore, right? And so there's maybe some connections again that are being missed. Mood swings, those are totally hormonal. We just got to blame all of that on mood swings, right? All of that on hormones. And even trouble sleeping is a lot of times an effect of a change or a disruption in your hormones. Infertility, quite obviously, is a hormone imbalance issue. And even poor memory is related to the hormones in your body that are connecting to different parts in your brain and in your body. And type 2 diabetes is also another one. So there's quite a few different areas that having an imbalance in your body can affect. Okay. And some of those, maybe you guys are like, yes, absolutely, this is me, or maybe not all of those relate to you, but maybe they relate to somebody you know. So let's talk about your body. We're all females on here, I believe. So we all have or had a female reproductive system. It includes our ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, external genitalia, and breasts. And this reproductive system works closely with other systems, especially the endocrine system. Our ovaries secrete estrogen and progesterone. Those are two hormones. And these hormones are crucial for fertility, but also they play a key role in a woman's emotional and physical health. And as always, nutrition and hydration directly impact the production of these hormones. Okay, so just if you're experiencing, it could be if you're experiencing hormonal imbalance, it could be something as simple as nutrition and hydration, right? So those are always places we like to start. So hormones, yes, please.
Can I just jump in real quick on that last one there? Absolutely. A lot of people that don't buy into the, you are what you eat situation. There are a lot of people that are like that. Some of them are even some of my brothers and sisters and people that I know closely, right? And for a lot of other people, it's calories in, calories out. It's only about weight. But the more you don't even have to scratch the surface to learn that so much of your body's health in such a connected way is related to what we eat. So I always like to emphasize this a little bit. And when I'm talking about nutrition with my new customers, because it's almost a new concept to a lot of people, that it's not just how much you're eating, it's what you're eating. And it's not just for weight, it's for cellular health on a hormonal level in our bodies. What we're eating is important. And so I know people that are like, I'm not happy with the size that I am right now. I'm going to cut my calories, and they're eating cake and cookies and crackers, and they're losing weight because they're not eating as many calories as their body's using. But they suffer so much in energy, in sleep, in bone health, and that definitely reflects their hormones. And so you can't outrun a bad diet. You can't outproduce hormone a bad diet. And so just a little emphasis on this one right here, like, you're just balance it, guys. Balance it and learn what your body needs, right?
Thank you. I love that. Someone once explained it to me like this. If you had a plant, like in a little pot, and maybe you don't even have a green thumb. Okay, I kind of don't, to be honest. I need to learn from you, Kirsten. But you had a little plant. What would you feed the plant? The plant is a living, growing, breathing organism. You're going to pour water, sunlight, you're going to put it in a nice area, maybe give it some plant food or some fertilizer, right? But you're not going to pour like soda and like gross things on it. And think of your body. Your body is actually a lot more robust than a plant. But I've thought about that. Like, what would I feed a plant, and consider how I feed my body and how much I care for my body in that same way. So we're all at different levels. I certainly am not perfect, but I think that it's nice to just add new little things like into our little tool belt, right? So hormones, if you didn't know, hormones are chemical messengers. And these chemical messengers travel throughout our body. And they're like a party planner. Okay. They coordinate all the processes. They coordinate processes like growth, metabolism, and even fertility. They can actually influence the function of our immune system and even alter our behavior. So hormones it's definitely like, it's the messengers that are traveling through the body, right? And your endocrine system is the system that is responsible for the messaging, like as the messages travel from this to this to this, like they have these little checkpoints in your body, right? And in a response to a signal from your brain. So it starts in your brain. And you can see this is pretty interesting, right? I don't want to talk too much through it, you guys. I hope you can kind of see this. Number one is your hypothalamus, 2 is your pineal gland, and 3 is your pituitary gland. So those are the 3 different glands and parts of your brain where the messages start. Okay, so in response to a signal from your brain, hormones, which are the messengers, right, are secreted directly into the blood by whichever gland it is that produces that specific hormone and also stores that hormone. So these different glands, as you can see in the body, are what make up what is known as the endocrine system. And endocrine actually means secreting internally, right? Which makes sense. So also number 8, the brain signals number 8, the ovaries to secrete certain things, the adrenals to secrete adrenaline, your pancreas, those types of things. So that's different hormones. And there are chemicals that interfere with the function of hormones. And therefore they're known as endocrine disruptors. If you ever wonder about a product or a cleaning solution or anything at all, and you wonder, like, I would look up, like, is this an endocrine disruptor? And if it is, like, definitely stay away from it. It's messing up your ability to send messages throughout your body. Now, what's really cool is that essential oils can be very beneficial in the endocrine system because they are circulated in the same way as your hormones, and they profoundly benefit the cells that they encounter in the process. So I like knowing why things work really well. That just makes sense. Those essential oils are made up of a lot of the same compounds like our bodies are, and they're very beneficial when they're circulated throughout our bodies.
This picture here is also a perfect explanation of why diffusing is the fastest way to affect our emotions, because you're diffusing straight into your olfactory system, and it's going to hit your hypothalamus first and your pineal first, which is right where your hormones are secreted. And so you'll read it a lot, and it's a real thing, the physical change and hormone release that comes just from diffusing different oils in your home.
So cool. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about what can go wrong. So hormone disrupting chemicals, or like I said before, endocrine disruptors, can act at any point along this hormone signaling pathway. Okay, and some are hormone mimics, like they pretend like they're a hormone. This is how terrible it is. They bind the receptor sites where those cells are trying to communicate with each other, and they can even send a false signal, one that was not commanded by the brain. And other types of endocrine disruptors block the action of a natural hormone, keeping it from binding its receptor and having an effect. So there's like 2 different things going on. You've got your brain sending messages to your endocrine system to fire like different hormones, and then endocrine disruptors are blocking those signals. And then other kinds of endocrine disruptors are actually sending other signals that the brain did not tell them to send. It's making sense. It's like kind of crazy. Like, how do our bodies get hijacked, and why do we let them get hijacked? I don't know. Anyway, so endocrine disruptors can also alter the amount of a hormone that is synthesized in your body, or how fast it is degraded, or the way in which a target cell responds. So there's a lot of different things that endocrine disruptors can do in your body, but all of these mechanisms of action can have the same effect. And that is disrupted development in an embryo. So like on an embryonic level, if you're pregnant or planning to become pregnant, or altered functioning in an adult. So there's something, we talked a little bit about estrogen and progesterone. There is a hormone disruptor. It's like a fake hormone. It's called xenoestrogen. All right. And you can kind of see on the picture here, like a little example. Kind of, I mean, there's a lot of things this could be, these pictures, but I wanted you to see that xenoestrogens will mimic real estrogens, and they bind to your estrogen receptor sites and then send those unintended signals. Okay. So where do the xenoestrogens come from? Well, here's a short list of, go back. Xenoestrogens are found in canned food, farmed fish, tap water, plastics, factory farmed animals, soy in food, household cleaners, pollution, fragrances, pesticides, medications, beauty products, and many personal care products. Okay, so xenoestrogens are kind of everywhere. And what we've been trying to teach you over the last 7 weeks is, some of you are just going to go and throw out every possible thing that could resemble a xenoestrogen. And some of you are going to be like, you know what? I'm just going to start with a few things and start making some different decisions. And both of those are right, in my opinion, right? Like, we are living, breathing people that are running lives. And the way that I have done it in my life has been just step by step, making better decisions every day, and letting those things kind of settle into my life. And I feel that being accelerated more now, though, honestly. Like, I don't know if it's 2020, I got more time on my hands, or I'm sitting at my house and I'm just like, oh my gosh, why would I allow that in my body? Like, now I know better. And when you know better, you can do better. And when you feel better, you can do better, right? And this is why we're teaching you this, so that you can feel better.
Yeah, the simple picture there shows, right? And on that picture, oh, it makes sense. This can take the place of this. And it seems so basic, but it is the basis of so many things that you guys have heard of already, like autoimmune disorders, right? Those are the fake signals that your body is receiving from other things, where something tells your body to attack something else in your body, even though it shouldn't. Those are the fake signals that cause a wide variety of different autoimmune disorders. She also mentioned how it can cause your body to make more or less of something, right? If your body says make this much estrogen and it goes and blocks it, and your body isn't getting it, then your body will make more and make more, right? And we know problems that causes. Same thing with not enough, if your body isn't making enough estrogen. So my main thing I think about with that is your thyroid, right? Hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. It's making the hormones, it's sending them out, and your body isn't getting the signal, so it makes too many. And so it sounds basic. Oh, it fits in the little cup. It doesn't, but it's the basis of a lot of things that you guys might struggle with now or can struggle with in the future. And so we want to be proactive as we learn, right?
Thank you. I would also add vaccines. Vaccines are a really good example. And I'm not trying to be like one way or the other. Again, not going political, but I'm just saying vaccines do something in your body, right? They actually bind to receptor sites to tell your body, make antibodies for this, or you already have antibodies for this. And they change the endocrine system, and they disrupt that flow of what the signals that your body is getting. So I don't really want to go on a vaccine tangent, but I would just say, if you do get vaccines, and that is something that you do, which is fine, no judgment, but you'll want to pay attention to doing some detoxing from the heavy metals and some of the xenoestrogens and things that are in those vaccines, to try to get your endocrine system running as clean as possible. All right. Now, this one right here is called phytoestrogen, and it's a natural form of estrogen-like therapy. It's not estrogen, not taking estrogen hormones, but what it does is it assists to balance not only any deficiency of estrogen that you have in your body, but also any excess harmful xenoestrogen. So it goes and finds the xenoestrogens in your body, and it's like, nope, you're not real, you're not real, you're not real, get out. That's its job. It's like a xenoestrogen superhero. It actually minimizes unwanted symptoms associated with your menstrual cycle. And it contains genistein, which is a fermented soy. There's a difference. We said soy is a xenoestrogen. Fermented soy is not a xenoestrogen. And it contains a fermented soy extract that promotes healthy breast tissue and brings balance to hormones in actually both men and women. I wish it didn't say doTERRA women on it, because men have unbalanced hormones also, right? So phytoestrogen is an excellent option, especially if you've been told that, sorry, I got a little, yeah, there we go. I was echoing, especially if you feel or you have been prescribed or told by a doctor that you have a hormone imbalance. This is an excellent choice, a great place to start. Another one that's really important to go along with the phytoestrogen is called bone nutrient. So bone nutrient is a bioavailable nutrition supplement for men and women that is really necessary for bone integrity and bone strength and density and overall health. It's very important for those with weak or fragile bones. If somebody breaks a bone, also, I would definitely recommend adding this to their diet as that bone is healing. And for growing individuals like children. One thing that's important for you to know about bone nutrient is that vitamin D and magnesium are really vital for hormone balancing. So this bone nutrient is like the powerhouse that sets up that phytoestrogen for like to have maximum impact. So it's really, really good. It's best to buy the bone nutrient and the phytoestrogen and take those together, right? We always talk about lifelong vitality, and I think it goes without saying at this point in week 7, but Kirsten, you mentioned how important in the beginning that proper nutrition is. And for a lot of us right now, I mean, or anytime, eating the right amounts of fruit and vegetables, like that's like another thing on my list. You know what I mean? Like, did I feed them all enough, cucumbers and antioxidants and all the things, and I just really love, this is like a safe bet for me. It's like, hey, lifelong vitality, I'm getting my foundational nutrition and I'm getting optimal hormone balancing and energy levels as a foundation. And then if my body needs extra to go fight, the extra xenoestrogens in my body and to help my bone density, then I can use the phytoestrogen as well. But I wouldn't recommend, doing that in place of the foundational nutrition. I really do feel like that's the best place to start with the superfood, right?
When I start talking to someone who's having different troubles or problems, I always like to start there because it covers so many bases. And if you're working on that, it can eliminate a lot of problems so that we can see what really is lingering and we know where to go from there.
Totally.
It also talks about, right, the 3 things that it promises you, or you get your money back guarantee. So the longer I've been on these guys, the more differences I've been able to tell. And it took about maybe 2.5, 3 months before I noticed a huge difference in my cycle. And so previous to taking these vitamins, since I've had my last child, super heavy cycle, a lot of hormone imbalance. Like the day before, I would always lose it on one of my children. And mentally, it was so frustrating because I knew that my reactions were uncalled for. And while they were happening, they shouldn't be happening. And then I would think, oh, my period must be starting tomorrow and never fail. It would always start the next day after. And so the 3rd month in, my period surprised me and I wasn't expecting it. I didn't have soreness, cramping, and I wasn't crazy hormonal. And I was like, oh, that's so odd that I didn't have any of those things to alert me. And so the next time the same thing happened, and the only thing I can think of that has changed are these vitamins right here. And so they have actually lengthened, slowed my flow. So it's not so crazy heavy, help to regulate my hormones, and my period is a whole different visitor when it comes. And so pay attention if you guys are taking these like you should be, for changes in other areas of your body that you might not have thought of that will improve, that you'll be able to figure out what it is that is really helping out there.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. I wanted to move on since we're talking about being women and being connected to our cycles. Oh, Rose. She is glorious. I use Rose every day. Rose is on my heart in the morning, right before I say my prayers. Rose goes right over my heart and it helps to just balance my emotions. It helps me connect, I feel, to my just beautiful feminine spirit. It says it boosts libido. That's one of the things on here. That's nice. I don't have a problem with that. So I don't really, but if you do, you might want to look into using Rose as a solution for you. And it promotes openness and confidence, which I would totally agree with. Rose is the queen of oils, and you can apply it to your lower abdomen for relief from menstrual discomfort, and also to help promote regular ovulation. It smells amazing. It's divine. I also, as a side note, I use rose over my boys' hearts a lot when they are sad. Like I just love having a connection with them where they feel not only mom is here for them, but I'll draw a heart with the rose touch over their heart and then just put my hand on there for a second and they receive that love in like this very connected way, right? They're smelling it, it's signaling their brain. It's like it's a whole connection with the rose oil. And it's beautiful and amazing. So I love it.
Guy was on sale last month, but you can also get one in the Precious Florals collection. There's a small rose in there. And so that was something I was really excited about when this went on live for Mother's Day. I'm like, oh, there's a rose in there. And for that price, I can get a rose plus 4 other things.
Mhm.
And so I don't think that I use it quite as liberally as you do, because I'm like, its value is so important, but I need to get it out more. It's one of those things where you're like, special occasions, or I'm saving it, but really I need to be using it and getting its
Yeah.
benefits in my home, right?
Yeah, I get like that sometimes too. I could understand that. I mean, it's definitely not, it's a more expensive oil, right? It takes, I always forget how many rose petals it takes, but it's an insane amount of rose petals to make like 1 bottle of oil. So yeah, it is very
Yeah.
precious.
It's like
Sure.
300 dozen roses go into 1 bottle.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I knew it was something really amazing. But I love that you brought up the precious florals. I don't know about you, but for Mother's Day, I would rather receive the precious florals oils that are going to last and not die. I mean, flowers are lovely, but they die so much. And it's just kind of like a whole cycle. So the oils are amazing.
My mom got them for Mother's Day.
Love it. So good. Okay, I want to talk about one of my favorite oils for women's balancing, and all of you should have gotten the Clary Calm in your monthly order. That was like on the list of things for you to try. I love Clary Calm. I could just sing from the rooftops about how this oil has changed my life as a mother. There have been times, especially after having children. So like during that postpartum depression, basically like the whole year after creating a human and birthing a human and nursing a human and being exhausted from all of your humans, like just that whole experience for me, I would keep Clary Calm in my purse. It was just always with me. And you could find me in the corner of the kitchen or at a restaurant or somewhere, just kind of like someone would breathe in a paper bag, like breathe in this is me with Clary Calm in the corner, like freaking out and just trying to get myself centered and grounded. I love this oil. It has kept me safe.
I thought you were going to say, you'll find me in the corner unbuttoning my top button so I could roll it on my abdomen. And I had that in my head before you were like, breathe it in. I'm like, that makes more sense.
Yes, no, that makes sense too. And I do that now, but I just remember so many times, especially after baby number 3, that one, maybe, if you have multiple children, you kind of can think back to like one of those children that just like rocked your entire world, For me, that was number 3. And this Clary Calm was just like, it was my best friend. And I know that sounds silly to talk about an oil like that, but it really fed my brain. It fed my whole endocrine system, like exactly what it needed so that I could keep functioning like as a good mom. So Clary Calm at this, like around, this phase of my life, I use Clary Calm, I would say twice a month. Like around my cycle and then around ovulating. Those are just kind of like 2 times when I really notice my cycle, right? And I will add it to I'll roll it on my abdomen to help with hormone balancing and heavy periods, as you guys can see. Clary Calm is another one that is amazing for, premenopause or postmenopause. I have one of my really good friends, actually, she had to have a hysterectomy. She had tumors and she had to have all of those what are they called? Like your organs, yes, removed. And this for her, the Clary Calm with the peppermint for hot flashes, it was just a complete game changer for her. Like it was just like, she was so grateful to have these 2 little tools. Another time that I've used Clary Calm actually a lot is right after having a baby, when your uterus is shrinking and you get like that really bad cramping, especially if you're nursing and your baby's like nursing and then your uterus is shrinking and you're like, it's a good thing that it's shrinking, but it hurts really bad. I would have Clarycalm, and I love that it's in a roller, because I would just roll that on like every time I would have any kind of cramping in the hospital or after, having a baby. It was really, really helpful for me. And it actually helped me avoid taking the pharmaceutical drugs that they wanted to give me for pain, because I was able to use Clarycalm. And also I used a Deep Blue. It comes in a roller also. So I had Clarycalm and Deep Blue. If you have friends that are having babies, I'm telling you, like the ultimate baby shower gift. I mean, sure, get them a cute blanket or whatever, but I'm telling you, the ultimate like post baby combo is the Clarycalm with the Deep Blue in the roller bottles for them to roll on their abdomen, right after they have their baby. So good. Okay, here's another image of our endocrine system, and I want to talk about some of the specific things that you can use to affect different glands and receptor sites in your body. And so we already kind of talked about what the endocrine system is, but as part of our endocrine system, our liver is part of our endocrine system, right? And our liver is like amazing for lots of systems in our body, but healthy liver function is really the underpinning of hormone balance. And so one way to support your liver naturally and quite simply is to drink plenty of lemon water and or Slim and Sassy essential oil. One thing that I do every day, I actually take a little veggie cap and I put 5 drops of Slim and Sassy oil in that veggie cap, and I just take it down with my vitamins. You can, they make it in a, soft gel already made, so you don't have to make them yourself, but I just have a lot of that Slim and Sassy oil, so I just make it myself. But anyway, that's really good. Lemon oil in your water is really good. And also Zendocrine. Imagine that. Zendocrine is good for your endocrine system, right? So Zendocrine is a capsule that is already prepared that has really good liver detoxifying essential oils in it. So you could add 1 Zendocrine soft gel to your daily supplements handful, and that would really support your liver. Okay. To care for your pancreas, you could take, I already kind of talked about Slim and Sassy, but 1 to 3 drops of Slim and Sassy daily to support your metabolism and also to regulate your blood sugar and release excess water. Slim and Sassy has cinnamon essential oil in it, and cinnamon is very good for regulating your blood sugar. Maybe you've heard of diabetics who, take like cinnamon capsules, right, to like help regulate their blood sugar. So Slim and Sassy is really, really good for that. Slim and Sassy also has peppermint and ginger essential oils in it, which are really good for digestion and soothing your digestive system and kind of helping everything move along quickly. And lemon and grapefruit essential oils are also in there, which are, again, very detoxifying for your fat cells and detoxifying for all of these different systems. So you mentioned the florals, Kirsten, and magnolia is also a floral. Magnolia is very good for supporting your adrenal glands. Adrenals are these little, these things. Oh, I should be talking about these like specifically in my slides. Let's see if I can go forward. There we go. Adrenals, well, I wanted to show you guys the picture. Adrenals are those little orange acorn looking things on the picture that sit right above your kidneys. So if you're ever wondering, like if you put your hands on your back, kind of where your kidneys are, where your fingertips are, the adrenals are just little tiny walnut sized glands that sit right above your kidneys. So kind of interesting. Now, Kirsten, do you want to talk about caring for your thyroid?
Yeah. Okay, so my thyroid is one of the first really big things that I tackled with oils once I was really getting into the nitty-gritty of learning what they could do for our bodies. And so everybody has your thyroid, right? Your thyroid is putting out hormones into your body that regulate a number of different things. And it's very common for people to have a low thyroid count or a high thyroid. And this is because of what we were talking about a few slides ago with your body's receptors being tricked. Having hyper or hypothyroidism, something that kind of creeps on you slowly, and people kind of brush off the things that our bodies feel as, just getting older, or maybe they had an illness and they feel like they didn't recover from it, because it's never such a stark like now everything is happening at once. It just kind of gradually happens. Things that your thyroid can affect, right? Fatigue, your actual body's sensitivity to cold, constipation, dry skin, weight gain, puffy face, hoarseness in your voice, muscle weakness, high blood cholesterol, muscle aches and stiffness, pain and joint swelling, heavy irregular periods, thinning hair, slow heart rate, depression. It can impede your memory as well as enlarge your thyroid. I was feeling more than half of these by the time I decided to start taking care of it. So I have 2 sisters and a mother, and both of my sisters are hypothyroid. And so I knew it was something I was going to begin to deal with. And I would get my levels checked and they were just slightly elevated. And I would tell myself, you know, I can manage because I don't want to take a medicine for the rest of my life. When you begin to take something for thyroid, like a Synthroid, you're on it for the rest of your life. And I remember finally just feeling like I was too tired. I couldn't do it anymore. Went to the doctors. This was before oils, by the way. And he's like, all right, here you go. And I just remember looking at him and being like, and I really have to take this for the rest of my life. And he was like, yes. And I just remember leaving that day feeling defeated, like I didn't take good enough care of the body that I had, and now I was going to pay for it. And so it was a while before I had, my son was just beginning to go through cancer. Actually, at this time, he was just diagnosed when Kirsten reached out to me and began to say, you know, oils this and let's, you know, and that's when I really began to take it seriously. So I got my son going on things, and then I'm like, it's time to take care of me. So the first thing I did was get on my LLV, number 1. Second thing I did was the thyroid medicine that's right down here, except for instead of lemongrass, I like peppermint in mine. They function similarly for this purpose. I like the smell of this one a little bit more, but I mix this guy up, 10 of each. I put a little more myrrh and a little less clove, is I find the balance that I really like. And I'm rolling this guy on 2 to 3 times a day. It's the second thing I added in. The third thing I added in was the DDR prime. And so guys, this is like, I don't know if candy is the right word for your cells, but our cells is everything has to do with our cells, the regeneration of our cells, the renewal of our cell and our cell health, right? And so this guy right here is what your cells need on a daily basis. And so as we get older, our cells regenerate faster, renew differently. As we have different toxins in our body, it can affect different cells in our bodies and how they regenerate. Sometimes we have different problems with DDR prime stands for damaged DNA repair. I didn't know that. There we go. So I was just about to say that, right? Some of our DNA as it replicates becomes damaged. And we know that's just even the beginning of possible cancers and things like that. And so since our bodies, our receptors are full and not getting the correct signals from our thyroid, we are either having too much or too little of our THC and a couple of different other hormones that are regulated by this. And so by doing this guy here as the third thing that I do for my thyroid, it helps our cells to regenerate completely and wholly, to help our thyroid function more as its own, send out clear signals for our body to get right. And so I did all 3 of these things together for about 6 months. And then because of COVID, actually, I ran out of my Synthroid medicine and I didn't refill it. And I'm like, this is it. Let's see what happens. I waited 3 months and then went and got my levels checked this past June. And the guy didn't know that I had gone off of my medicine. And so he calls me, he's like, all right, your levels are great. This level is actually amazing. You're doing really good. I'm glad it's working for you. And I'm like, well, actually, I haven't taken it in over 3 months. And he was like floored. He says, I've never heard of this, of someone healing their own body in this way. And I'm like, you know, I don't know that I've healed my body, but I've supported it so that it can do its own job, which is what I want it to do. And so he was like, be careful when you tell other people to do this because everybody's body won't, you know, react the same. And I'm like, I know, but I feel like I can figure out to help enough people to help their body react to make progress at any rate. And so he was kind of floored about it. Haven't had any relapse in my symptoms, have been going strong with my oils. And I'm really pumped and excited about it. And so it's just another thing that oils have changed in my life that's just made such a huge impact.
That's so awesome. Like for me, it's just like, hallelujah. And I love that you went back to your doctor too, right? Like you were being proactive. And I think that was a very wise thing for you to do. And it's very wise to, you know, kind of give out that disclaimer too. Like, hey, I'm not saying don't take your medicine. I'm just saying this is what I did. This is how I took it into my own hands. And these are the results that I got. I love how each of our bodies can, you know, kind of be a little bit different too. And it's fun that you substituted peppermint for lemongrass. Like that's fun. There's like nothing wrong with it. It's not like that combination is going to hurt you in some way. It's just you're finding and you're using that intuition. I feel like that's what you're doing is you're really listening to your body and you're like, oh, let's try this one. Let's see if we can sharpen it up a little bit. So I just think that's fantastic. So Stacy asked the question, can we take the oils if we don't have, oh yeah, you got it. Yeah, a thyroid district. Absolutely. Yeah, that's like a given.
That's the bonus of natural health is that all you're doing is can do its own job.
Yeah, totally. Thank you for that. That's so cool. All right, moving on. So here's a hormone healing wellness plan. If you feel like this is where you're at, and this is definitely what you need to focus on. So this is what we would suggest for morning. Take your Lifelong Vitality with 1 phytoestrogen. And we didn't even talk about Mito 2 Max. There was like so many things. Mito 2 Max is an additional energy supplement. Okay, so it's not a stimulant, it's not caffeine. It actually comes from cordyceps mushrooms, which are known for prolonging and helping the mitochondria, which is like the energy factory in each of your cells, go for longer. So 1 to 2 Mito 2 Max. 1 to 2 drops of Yarrow Palm in a veggie cap would be another one that would be really good. Yarrow Palm. We talked about Yarrow Palm last week when we talked about skincare, right? Terrazyme with your meals, and then the Super Women blend. And I would call that either the blend, Kirsten, that you just shared with the clove, the frankincense, the lemongrass or peppermint and myrrh, or the Clary Calm blend. Those would be like 2 options for the Superwoman blend. And then evening, again, the Lifelong Vitality, 1 phytoestrogen with Mito 2 Max. If you need additional support for adrenal fatigue, Terrazyme with meals, and then use that Superwoman blend again, that for the thyroid or the Clary Calm one, just kind of depending on what you need most. So those are just some ideas. Obviously, you can kind of customize a little bit more. And if you have questions, you can definitely reach out to us individually. We can answer those questions and help you find what works best for you. Here's just so you can kind of see the sample wellness box, for the future, if you decide like, hey, this is definitely what I want to concentrate on. So you could add the bone nutrient, phytoestrogen, rose, and Clary Calm. And that would actually give you a free oil of the month, and you get free product credits when you order it on your loyalty rewards order, which is super awesome. We've talked about that quite a bit. So that's a good idea for you. And just in finishing up, this is just a reminder, we are on week 7 and we have 1 more week. We have our oils for pain management. And for November, we do need you to email Julianne, eoeassistant@gmail.com with your order number. And remember that you are responsible for purchasing your Lifelong Vitality supplements. And then when you add the adaptive capsules, the deep blue rub, which we'll talk about next week, and then the Clary Calm that we talked about this week, we will reimburse you for those products that you added to your loyalty rewards order. And you get the free points and the shipping points and all the good stuff. So I hope that's been helpful and fun for you. It's certainly, I really feel like this has been totally worth it. When I first started this, I'm like, is this a good idea? Like, should I really pay for all this? No, but honestly, like, I feel truly, if I can help, 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 more people really understand how to take care of their bodies, how to integrate this into their lives. Like, I just feel like it's my purpose on this earth. And I'm truly grateful that you've trusted us with this time and with this knowledge. So I hope you're really enjoying the content. Remember to join us next week again. I think maybe we have some time for some questions. That's what I'm feeling. Let's see. Sorry, guys. These slides, they get away from me. So if you guys have any questions, you can type them in the chat box. Thanks, Karen. Glad to have you on here. Maybe any certain like situations or kind of wondering. I mean, no question is a dumb question, really. So happy to help you guys with anything that you need as it relates to hormones or anything.
Psoriasis.
Yeah, that's a great question. So Karen, if you remember when we were, what was it? oils for every age, I believe, where we went through and I showed you the search box and the search tab that you can go to. Have you ever typed in psoriasis like in that search box? I wonder, I could go do that, but I would also just suggest looking in there for that. So I could probably take some time. Yeah, I'll show you guys one more time. I know repetition is like always good. So I'll jump into that if you want to stay on. I'll jump into psoriasis and any other questions you guys have. So in finishing up, I wanted to let you know that we have started. There have been quite a few of you who are wanting to move into sharing essential oils and just kind of learning more about how we are wellness coaches and that you can be as well. And so we have a business training that is every Tuesday. So Thursday is the product training, Tuesdays is our business training. So we started last week, we had our first team call, and on the 17th this week at 5:30 Pacific time, I'll be doing a quick overview of the business, like, doTERRA, who are we? How do we do what we do? How do you get paid? How do you refer people? That sort of a thing. And then at 6 p.m., we'll be jumping into our actual team call where we go through the training, we do a Q&A, and we really just help you start sharing oils more efficiently and more effectively and just creating that, that income if you choose. So wanted to make sure you guys know that. I know there was a question, someone couldn't get in. There is a different link. So you guys notice at the bottom for the business training, it is bit.ly/living wellness team, because it's like our team stuff. And then the product stuff is actually bit.ly/learn more oils. So that's what you guys are on now. Learn more oils is all the product education. And then Living Wellness Team is the link for the Zoom for the business info. So there is a difference there. And thanks so much to those of you who joined us on Tuesday. It was great to have you. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Jump off. Thank you for being here. If you'd like to learn how I'm going to help with psoriasis in just a moment, then you can stay on and watch how I do that. And Kirsten, go ahead. You have something else you want to say?
Oh, I just flipped to psoariasis in this little book here.
Oh, awesome.
And so it was about that. So people
go ahead, please. And show them the book that you're using too. Yeah.
Okay. So this guy is kind of like the teenage child of the really big essential oils basics book. And it's my favorite because it's just so much easier to grab and you have the same information in the front for oils. So you can get this guy on oillife.com shipped to your house for about $18. I know that many of the people that work with my team have already gotten their hands on one because it's such an important resource for easily and effectively. Well, I have this oil. What is it good for? And it's got great information on individual oils as well as uses. So this guy, I flipped to psoriasis, and the very first thing there is, oh, my light is way too bad, is Zendocrine, which means that psoriasis is a complication, right, of our liver and some of our different organs that secrete hormones being clogged and being, full of toxins and things like that. And so cleaning out your liver and something like that is one of the fastest and biggest ways to see a difference in psoriasis. So we talked in our skin week about how our skin is the biggest organ in our body, right? And it has got to filter so much stuff coming in and going out. And so by cleaning other organs in our body, we're going to be able to affect largely what we're seeing on the outside of our skin. I saw your face there for a second, Stacy. You're very gorgeous.
Hey, Stacy. That's
Roman
awesome.
chamomile. Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Go ahead.
No, keep going. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. Roman chamomile, turmeric, and copaiba all are to use topically and to drink in water. And geranium is the 5th oil here listed. And so you can put these guys in your diffuser. You can put them on your skin in a roller bottle with some fractionated coconut oil and rub them directly on where you want to and drop them in water. So there's no wrong way to get these oils into your system, to clean your skin out, to clean your liver out, to be able to clear things up a little bit and help your body to heal that psoriasis.
I love that. You know what I would do, Karen? So it's nice for us to learn all these different ways. I imagine if it were my brother, The only thing I could get him to do, men are different sometimes than women too, right? The only thing I'm going to get my brother to do is I'm just going to send him a bottle of Zendocrine soft gels, the black bottle of Zendocrine soft gels. Like that's what he needs. Or just send him like, 10 of them in a baggie or something. You know what I mean? Just be like, hey, take 2 of these at 1 in the morning, 1 at night, and see how you start to feel. Like you have to start slowly with people. And especially I would say somebody who has never used essential oils before, they might be kind of like, okay, how do I do this? And what am I going to do? So I would just say the Zendocrine soft gels would be just a great, like simple start. And then if he wanted a topical oil, for soothing or cooling or whatever, for the skin, then some of those other ones, like you said, rum and chamomile, some of those other ones would be good for topically as well. But when you're sharing essential oils, it's like less is more, you know what I mean? Like simple, like don't try to overwhelm someone, because I'm speaking from experience. I'm like, and there's this, and people are like, holy crap, I can't.
Yeah, just like when I started with my thyroid, I started one thing, I got it down to a habit, I added a second thing. He can start with his Zendocrine soft gels so that he'll see a difference off of those alone, I'm betting, and make that part of his thing, and he'll see a change and then add to it, Just give him a little more,
I'm going to just finish real quick right here. I found what I was looking for. I went back to our presentation on week 4, the oils for every age. This was what I was wanting you guys to have saved. bit.ly/search oils. You gotta just memorize that, or you gotta have it like saved in the notes on your phone or whatever. You can also it'll take you to this website. And then just like I showed you on your phone, you can save this web page to your home screen on your phone. So it actually shows up like an app, like you can just click on it on your phone. And that way you can scroll down and find psoriasis or whatever else it is that you're looking for. So I feel like I should show that on every single week. It should just be like a reminder. So anyways, you guys are great. Thanks so much for being on with us. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.